All right, everyone, welcome to this incredibly important check-in with our Gaslit Nation community. We know things are extremely tense and about to get even more tense as we head into the midterm elections. And on top of that, oligarch Elon Musk, backed by dark money in his ownership of Twitter, is pedal to the metal, firing people and trying to remake the site based on his own idiotic ideas. It's incredibly frightening because Twitter is a place that we've all been organizing. On Twitter, I united with strangers around the world to launch Digital Maidan, a hashtag of the revolution in Ukraine. We saw Digital Maidan make a real-time impact. It started trending globally within a matter of minutes because so many people united to draw attention to Yanukovych's riot cops beating and killing protesters in Kiev. And it became this SOS hashtag. And we organized so many fundraisers and so many events fact-checking the Kremlin disinformation war against Ukraine during Euromaidan, the revolution. And not only that, on top of that, when the Kremlin's war finally came to America in a really big way in 2016, I met Sarah, and we've been in the trenches ever since in the war of democracy versus fascism, which is the war of our lifetime right now. And it touches everyone, whether you want it to or not. It's coming for everyone, whether you want it to or not. And so here we are. So who knows what Elon Musk is going to do to it? And we know people are anxious because a lot of our listeners engage with us over Twitter. But we're here to tell you, we're not going. We are not going. This is our place. We were there first. We're going to be defiant to the very end. And we're basically Jennifer
Hudson.
We're Jennifer Hudson
and Dream Girls.
We're not going anywhere. Okay. And so, but for those of you who are leaving, you have your reasons, but we encourage you to stay and fight it out in the cesspool of life. But if you do want alternative places to engage with the Gaslit Nation community, you can do it on several other oligarch-owned websites, such as Facebook. Right? We've got a great, we've got a page on Facebook. You can sign up there and chat away there. We're also on Instagram, and we're also on Patreon. I understand that times are tough and, there's the inflation crisis, but we have looked into it, and you could sign up to our Patreon for as low as $1. You can select the price for $1 a month. You can be on there chatting away with our community. Yes, we are looking into Discord. Sarah and I are 77 years old, emotionally speaking, so we do not want to add any more
oligarch tech to our lives. We've had enough. We want to stick with the one we've got.
Exactly. And Gaslit Nation is something that's near and dear to our hearts. So as the fascists keep coming for us, we're going to continue bobbing and weaving, right? And so that's what you all have to do. We all have to adapt. We all have to be flexible. We all have to keep our community going, fight for our community. And before I kick it over to Sarah, who's got a lot to say on this as well, of course, I want to just remind you all that this Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, is our final phone bank together to get out the vote. It's going to be for U.S. Senate candidate Mandela Barnes in Wisconsin and U.S. Rep in the House, this House superstar Lauren Underwood in Illinois. We've got to get them both into Congress. Lauren reelected, Mandela Barnes finally elected into the Senate against that Kremlin propagandist, disinformation agent, Ron Johnson, who went after my sister. So join us for that. Mandela Barnes himself is going to be there. Again, that's 4 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up. We have the sign up link pinned as the top tweet on Gaslit Nation's Twitter at Gaslit Nation, or go to gaslitnationpod.com and click on the 2022 survival guide, and you'll see it there under our list of events. That's November 7th, Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're doing that with Indivisible. Every phone call we make together matters because every single vote matters, and this election is going to be close. And on top of that, everyone who shows up to our Monday night election eve phone bank, 4 p.m. Eastern, one of you will be selected to get a signed copy of Sarah's new book, They Knew, and a Mr. Jones poster. So you don't want to miss that.
All right. Thank you for that. I just have some thoughts, further thoughts on this week on Twitter and the Elon Musk takeover and people fleeing. And the first is something I've said for a very long time, which is you don't cede territory in an information war. As Timothy Snyder has said so many times, you do not surrender in advance. And as an anti-authoritarian person, truly, I don't run around telling people what to do. Like if you're going to leave, you're going to leave. And, there's plenty of reasons to leave. There's been reasons to leave the entire time because this is a network that's full of harassment and mobs and Nazis and all sorts of terrible stuff. That's been there, as I've said before, and remains there, of course, under Elon Musk. The thing is, we're seeing a multi-front attack on the media. We're seeing a purging from mainstream outlets of progressive voices, anti-corruption voices, investigative reporters, women, people who aren't white. Those are, disproportionately being fired, often without cause, while people who support the Trump crime cult or the Trump DOJ industrial complex are being elevated. This is a two-sided thing. This is either people who overtly root for, Trump and his backers and their criminality, or they root for the enablers, people like Merrick Garland, that make it possible, and they constantly assure you that justice is imminent, you don't need to do anything but vote, and everything's going to be fine. Obviously, things are not going to be fine. So I just want to, get that out there, that if you do have a place like Twitter, where you're able to build community, where you're able to express yourself, and this is critical, and where people have left a time-stamped, chronological, historical record of the last 17 or so years, that is not a place that you give up. Because first of all, wherever you go next, they're going to come for that next. Like if you're on Mastodon or whatever, like they'll try to get that. It might not necessarily happen. Hopefully it won't. But it's just not like a, one site shopping. Like they're going to move on to the next target once they're done with Twitter. What Twitter has that's unique is this historical record, not just of elite criminality in American politics, but the record of all of these revolutions that have sprung up across the world. The Arab Spring, the Ukrainian Revolution, the multiple uprisings in Iran, Black Lives Matter, what have you. Like there have been a lot of, political and activist movements that have sprouted up within the last 15 years. I don't credit them to Twitter. I credit them to the people who actually did the work, but they used Twitter to do that work. And most importantly, they left a record behind. We are living in a time where those in power are actively rewriting the historical record right now, and will rewrite it even further. And some of the best evidence that's out there is the type you find on Twitter, where it wasn't written in real time to be seen later. It was spontaneous. It was organic. It was people's thoughts at the moment. And so therefore, it's the most accurate. It wasn't put through, an editor at a website. It wasn't streamlined. It wasn't polished. I mean, some people were. It's also, we have to remind ourselves, of course, that Twitter is full of liars and propagandists and bot farms. So it's not like every content here is a piece of gold. But the thing is, you can find a piece of gold in this morass of bullshit. You truly can. Some of the best documentation, some of the best research that I found on any topic is there. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about nuking your account. At the least, copy the information, whatever you've put on there that you think is relevant or worthy, and hang on to it. I think people are being very hasty. The other thing is that, this is more minor, but it's interesting to me that there's a sort of drumbeat of, evil billionaire has taken over Twitter. I don't want to give him my labor. And I'm kind of like, where have you been? Where have you been? Were you on a different Twitter than me? Because once again, all of these problems were there. Is Musk objectively worse than anyone who's come before him? Of course. He's firing all the teams that actually tried to, mitigate these problems and improve life on Twitter. But, people are on Facebook with Zuckerberg. They're on TikTok giving their data to the Chinese. And that's not an exaggeration. Every day we have to do things, unfortunately, that benefit billionaires. When I drive my car, which I need to do as someone who lives in Missouri, I'm benefiting the fossil fuel industry. Do I like it? Not particularly. Do I do it? Yes. When I pay taxes to the government, do I like that? No, because they're spending my taxes on, military industrial crap, on everything that's like the opposite of what they said they were going to do. Do I pay them? Yes. But the thing is, the difference with Twitter is that it actually, you have the ability on your own, at least for now, the autonomy to put something good into the world, to put down documentation of crimes, to to ally with other people on social or political issues, to just express your thoughts and feelings, to have some sort of voice. And it's, like I said, it's text-based, it's quick. It's not, I think, as invasive as a lot of these video-based platforms, which honestly I find alarming. So anyway, there's that. And then I'm just going to conclude here. In my book, And They Knew, in chapter 7, I lay out what the plutocrat, mafia, oligarch class have in mind for us, have in mind for the United States. Their plan is not fascism. Fascism requires loyalty to the state. Fascist rulers want to enable the state, empower the state, expand the state. That's not what's happening here. What's happening is what I've said since 2016. America is getting stripped down and sold off for parts. And Twitter is a part of American infrastructure that is getting stripped down and sold off for parts. And you see that, with the Saudi backers of Elon Musk and also his, fealty to the Kremlin. And so what they want to do to the U.S. is split us all into little fiefdoms ruled by oligarchs, ramping up these, invented designations of red states and blue states, trying to tell people that secession movements are good, that they're beneficial. It is all crap. And that is what they're doing here. They're doing a massive mind fuck on people on Twitter. They are running people off and making them think it's their idea. And this mirrors directly. I'm just going to read one paragraph from They Knew. This is from chapter 7, where I write, "This crisis is not a matter of Democrats versus Republicans or red versus blue, quote unquote. This crisis is a matter of people who seek to protect the United States versus elite operatives who want to destroy it. The latter are stripping down the country and selling it for parts and trying to convince ordinary Americans that it was their own idea." And that is exactly what I see happening now, where people are leaving out of fear, I think, more than anything, and out of these sort of talking points that I'm a little suspicious are coming from people tied to Musk. No one's obligated to be on Twitter. Folks will do what they're going to do. And there's a lot of unhealthy things about it. But just, think before you make a permanent decision. Because I can't think of anything that would benefit him more and benefit Trump more and benefit right-wing extremists worldwide more than sole control over an incredibly powerful platform. And I could even see a situation where this is basically like a voluntary purge, like they're trying to get people to quit on their own so that they don't have to boot you off. And then people retreat into that mindset. And then, Trump has now announced, or is, I guess, going to announce on November 14th, he's running for president again, little Cosa Nostra Grover Cleveland thing going on. This is an ideal situation for them. There'll be nobody there to debunk the lies, to fight back. I don't know. I mean, you should think for yourself. You should take what I'm saying into consideration and, take the other talking points into consideration. But above all, always think for yourself. Value your independence and your individuality, and don't surrender in advance. Do not cede territory in an information war.